oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations, today's your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Oh, sorry, are we on air?
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Music.
Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the land we are on set today is the land of the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to their elders past and emerging. We are using this land as a place of learning and creativity, which the Wurundjeri people have been doing for thousands of years before us. That respect is extended to anyone here today in the audience or watching at home that are of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent.
Charlie, today is the day. We are off and away. I'd just like to say though, Matildas, you took us on a journey. It was amazing to see the country get behind you. And just a reminder to everyone to keep watching and supporting women's sport in any way you can. Tillies, thank you so much. Thank you for proving to everyone that Australia is a football nation. The real football.
Welcome back to Hungry Talks. Please sit down, there is no need to walk. I am your host Charlie, and this is Jaya.
This is our advertising show about all brands, even Maya. Today we are looking at all the places you will go, 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 go. Stay tuned, grab a treat, and don't turn the TV down low.
We promise that we won't go slow because today we're talking about how you can grow, not physically of course. I'm more referring to where you can go after your course.
Moving on can be scary, but there's no need to be hoarse because when the time comes for you and you need to divorce, there are so many ways to enter the workforce.
Today we referred to a few people as a source, but before we get into those who have the answers that we seek, let's have a look at our ad of the week.
This time around, it's about a brew that you can drink until you're weak. It'll have you stumbling around until you stub your toe. What else could I be referring to but Stella Artois?
The origins of Stella Artois date back to 1366, to a small brewery in Leuven, Belgium. During the following years, it expanded to the whole of Europe, to what we now know is Stella Artois. We crossed our historical data with art history data, and came up with a probability. First, we focused on the color of the beer and the type of glass to determine the style of the brew. In this case, a golden pigment with a Pilsner glass. Then, after establishing the painting's year and geolocation, we compared them with our original brewery brand records of current expansion and distribution to find the matches. By connecting all these variables, we could calculate that the beer being portrayed in all these paintings could, in fact, be an Artois. Together, we turned it into an exhibition at Buenos Aires' most prestigious museum, where Stella Artois launched an app that displayed the results when scanning the beer, with all the information gathered from more than 3,000 analyzed and uploaded paintings, turning every painting with a beer into our campaign.
Now, wasn't that interesting? Wasn't that fun? Here we have two to discuss with us, never just one.
Now, we are probably going to drop the rhymes this time, but before this all goes wrong, I'd like to introduce Amber and our favourite guest of the show, Tom. What do you think of the ad?
Great.
All right, we're done here.
Up there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's done.
As far as ads go, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
No, I thought it was good. I think we were actually talking about this a little bit beforehand. It is, you do wonder like who they're targeting with that. Like it's interesting, it's a cool idea, obviously a cool insight, a nice use of sort of probably known paintings and a connection that people wouldn't normally make between sort of two brands. Will that make people drink more Stella? I'm not convinced that there's an overlap between probably some of the people they're targeting and the type of people that might be interested in that. But if they've done their research and the insights there, it's a really cool execution of the campaign. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. It sort of feels like it doesn't have really a target audience of sorts. Like it feels like it's more of a viral campaign, and that's what we were talking about before. Is it feels like it's something that could go viral for the fact that it's done really well and like the data behind it and all of that. But in terms of an actual target audience, it feels a little bit ambiguous.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
isn't that a good thing, going viral?
It is, yeah.
Doesn't that get more people buying the product, drinking the product?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I guess it does depend though. When you have a legacy brand, right, brand awareness is pretty high. So you're not really kind of breaking into someone's mind for the first time. You're trying to like maybe reinvent or find new relevance, create a new interest in the brand. So I think for Stella, like, do they need to get the brand name out there? Maybe in some markets, probably a lot of them they don't. I think this is probably them trying a new approach to try and like redefine maybe how it's historically perceived. So people that already know it see it in a different way. I think that's probably what they're trying to do by going viral in this case.
Yeah, of course. I definitely like the tone of like how they're using technology and then using paintings like from history and combining the two. So it's both like old and new and just using both of that, which I think is really interesting. And maybe the whole point of it was just to go viral and just to like do something that hasn't been done before with our technology.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I love the use of technology within it, and like I've in high school like studied art and all that throughout, which I found really interesting. Like the connections between, like, oh, they all have one thing in common. It's like the drink within it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the insight is really, really good, and I like the idea that with all these ideas that somebody was sitting in a room at some point and made that
like,
connection.
hey, we should do this.
Yeah, because how that first person made that connection, the most compelling part of the whole thing is like how high some of these probabilities are. I'm not exactly sure about the level of scientific scrutiny behind them, but still, like, you know, some of these probably is a 98% chance it's Stella, and that is cool. And it is interesting, and it's one of those ideas that on its own is really interesting, and probably they knew it was going to go viral as long as they executed it right. And everything else they did after that, like the physical execution, the phone use, all that stuff, is all really, really cool and well timed, I think.
I mean, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it must be relevant.
You got me.
It must be relevant, yeah.
For the 300 or 400 people that are going to watch this later, more, we want more.
Yeah, very popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, you're doing your best.
And here I was maybe not going to talk too much about you coming on a lot, Tom.
Yeah, I've been begging, mate.
We're joking. It's all fun and games. Yeah, do you have any other final thoughts on the ad, really?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think just as a general concept, I think it's really clever based off the, like, the insight is genius. It's not something that I think you'd typically go for when trying to, you know, create an insight or like think of an insight. Yeah. So I think that's probably, the best part about it, I think.
It's definitely different, which is something I like. And although like I'm not a beer drinker,
Yeah.
it doesn't get me in that sense, but I was like, I appreciate how they're using art. So they've half got me hooked.
They have like combined two like different, I guess, interest areas together, which I find quite fascinating. Like you wouldn't necessarily consider like art and beer to be something that you'd combine, I guess.
So they're like, let's just see what happens. Let's throw the two together and see the results.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've picked up on that like historical thing there as well, I think, because historically, I mean, the beers are in these artworks, so there is a connection there. So I think I really like that they've gone for a new idea. I think like we need more campaigns like that. And yeah, never a bad thing to say about having a crack at something new and interesting. I think it was really good.
It beats like all the like repetition and same old ads and anything like that.
TikTok
At least
ads,
it's like something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so for that reason, I think it's good on that. It's really good.
Yeah.
Mixed reviews today. But anyway, before we continue today's subject, the places you'll go with an advertising degree after graduation, let's spend some time on current students and how they're using the degree now. Thanks so much for both of you coming on again. We really appreciate it. We love having you both on. But yes.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We sat down with Jacob Yallouz, aka Kutsu, a Swinburne Advertising student that is also pursuing a career in music. He's using his copywriting skills to help with his songwriting and looking for ways to build his brand while studying.
Hey, my name's Jacob, also known as Kutsu. I'm a singer-songwriter from Melbourne. I study a Bachelor of Media Communications and with a major in advertising. I guess all my life I've always had a nick for, I guess, like media and communications. I've always loved it at school. It's always been like always my highest achiever in that, and my personal like passion. So I guess going into uni, it was always just kind of in that field. I knew that I was going to do that, and I've always wanted to get into the creative side of advertising. So I think that's kind of where that started, and here I am now.
What kind of music would you say that you make?
I think I do quite a lot of things. I don't think like I can be defined as one genre, I'd say. I guess as of recent, I've definitely been grounded into, I guess, more of like the alternative kind of like emo, like rap kind of side of things.
With something with like such a niche audience, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's easier or harder to kind of, in a sense, advertise or promote yourself towards like fans?
Yeah, I think kind of having a niche audience is a really big help to begin, at least as an artist. Like I don't have a big audience, being a niche, I guess, genre. So I guess really pulling in those fans when I guess they initially hear your music, I think that's the most important for kind of being in the genre.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of looking at it now, then going forward, it's about kind of expanding that. And I think that that's definitely a state I'll eventually hopefully get to. Like if I could do whatever I want, I think it's just like, again, like I personally probably like kind of I'd make a team, I reckon. That's what I do. Like having a set of eyes that help me kind of decide what's best. Because I think I'm a believer that kind of having different eyes on the same project is really important. That's how you make the best product. So I think, I guess, starting with that and really just investing in a team that would really be able to help me build my brand. And then again, just using whatever budget I have to just promote as much as I can to a wide audience. So yeah, I think that's what I do.
Just kind of the broader, like a broad audience, and then whoever like sticks around.
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And do you think that that's a good way to kind of, like with your niche genre, do you think that's a good way to garner a cult following, or do you think there's other ways that could work?
I think there's definitely other ways. I think pandering, I guess, to those existing audiences that you've already kind of reeled in, and kind of almost like a word of mouth type of thing. Another could be even like kind of pandering to like the music video kind of side of things, where it's like having these big budget productions, because really music videos are just promotion at the end of the day. So I think that really kind of going down that lane, a more theatrical route, I'd say, is also another way to do it. So yeah, I think there's heaps of ways to handle different audiences. I definitely would like to try something like that, I guess, in like the style of a music video kind of, where it's like kind of really just making audiences watching go like, wow, this guy's like crazy, that type of thing.
And obviously with like working as an advertising student and the briefs that you get, I don't know about Swinburne, but RMIT, better by the way, we kind of are given a lot of free reign to kind of do what we want sometimes. Do you feel like every now and then you've had the chance to kind of sneak in your own music here and there, or kind of sneak in yourself and your own brand into any of these briefs? Have you found yourself doing that?
I did once. I like to keep it separate. Like a lot of the time, like I don't like to kind of like push it. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I like to have as many avenues open for myself as possible.
Yep.
Like my professional side, my music side, and just myself, I guess.
Yep.
Thing. But like in terms of like actually like creating a campaign like to do with my music, I've yet to do that. Now that you mention it, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be something that I get around to doing. But
Yeah, well, being transparent, Minutes, which is a music video that actually we work on together, is actually in my folio. So yeah, I forgot to tell you about that, but yeah.
No, I know.
And that's just part of the things that's good about folios, just kind of putting in whatever you can. You never know what might be relevant to a potential employer.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about an interest in copywriting. Do you feel like with copywriting and lyric writing, do you feel like there's a consistency or like, you know, there's a similar process there?
Copywriting's similar to songwriting. They're definitely two different avenues, but I'd say there's like so many similarities though. Like, I guess my music definitely, like my songwriting, I should say, actually, definitely follows conventions. Like, there's a lot of conventional writing that I use, and I like to kind of use particular language that kind of, like when you listen to one Kutsu song and you listen to another one, it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely the same type of like writing, like type of vibe. I like to kind of harken back on like certain ideas a lot in my music as well. I like to tie them into different concepts, but always the same language. So like one thing I love to use is like the idea of time. I like to like always sing like about time. So I think that's like one thing, for example. I guess if you look through a lot of my recent music as well, it always harkens back to like time. Like Minutes, for example, is a song that I did. And that one's obviously about time. It's about kind of having a little time like with someone. And then a lot of my other songs kind of like to, I guess, fall back on that and just write about kind of different like analogies of time, whether it be like really metaphorical or like just explicit. Like Joji loves to write experiences both from himself and from other people, and I definitely feel like that is something that I've taken on board as an artist. I like to write experiences from both outside of perspectives, like other people, what they've experienced and what I've heard about people and what they've told me, as well as my own experiences.
And do you have any advice for people that are studying advertising, that are trying to pursue their own careers, their own dreams and passions? As someone that's doing that as well, what would you say as for advice for those kind of people that are doing that?
I think like don't hold back, don't tell yourself don't do what you want to do, and using your experience and what you know, just go along with it. For example, like if you're building yourself an image, or just stick to whatever principles that make you, and yeah, just do what you enjoy, I guess. Like at the end of the day, if you're the most real version of yourself, then that's the version people like most.
Do you have any, like, and go as crazy as you want, do you have any dream collaborations in the music field?
I guess Joji's a massive inspiration for me.
Tell me, did you have a run-in with Joji earlier this year?
Yes, I did. He signed my vinyl at Laneway. He said my name on stage. It was really cool. It's the best moment of my life.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kutsu, Jacob. I really appreciate it. And keep on rocking in the free world. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do.
Well, I'm glad to see that despite their inferior nature, Swinburne is equipping students with the necessary skills to thrive in the job landscape.
Come on, don't be all high and mighty about university. That's for Melbourne Uni students to be all high and mighty.
But regardless, it's representative of the broad skill set that advertising degree provides you. With that being said though, I can't help but be filled with dread whenever someone asks me what I'm going to do after I finish my course.
It's a reasonable question for third years, but far out, I was being asked that before I even started the course, and I was always asked, have you watched Mad Men? 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 Yes, I've watched Mad Men, and sure, it did inspire a little bit of what I wanted to do, but I mean, do you ask someone that works at Coles, have you ever seen Superstore? No, it doesn't make sense.
It's one of the many pitfalls of being in advertising, being asked if you've seen Mad Men, with the other, of course, being the massive existential dread you get before graduation. But don't stress, because this is going to open so many doors for you. But don't take our word for it. Roll the clip. Why isn't it rolling?
Because saying roll the clip is my thing.
What do you mean it's your thing?
Roll it.
At this customer in Hungry Talks, our guests share a photo from the 90s, but as you go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, I can't believe the clips only listen to you when you say it? That's ridiculous.
You're just not trained yet. For all you know, if you say it wrong, it could end up with another Jingles episode.
There's more?
Yes, and I'm not afraid to use them. For now, though, I'll use my powers to play the video chat we had with 2 recent graduates, Alanna and Shani, and what they're up to now. Roll it.
As this customer in Hungry Talks, our guests share a photo from the 90s, but as you guys are the same age as us, the 2000s photos, so thank you very much for sharing them.
Yes.
Very cute.
We love it.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.
Shani, you're working as a programmatic at Dentsu, the leading advertising company in Japan. For those that don't know, what is Dentsu, and can you tell us a bit about some of your clients?
Yes, so Dentsu is a media and advertising company, and the clients that I currently work on are both Medibank and AHM, and if you didn't know, they're both private health insurance. And so what I do for them is they give me their creative ads and say, hey, where do we put these and like how do we place them? And I look at putting them before videos on YouTube, so that's my fault, I'm sorry about that. TV, if you're getting like interrupted on the Married at First Sight, me again. Also, digital display out of home, so like digital billboards, Times Square, even though I'm not putting it on Times Square. One day, who knows. Even like scrolling through like a website and you get an annoying ad and you go, oh, it's me again. So that's basically what I do, or how I explain it to my parents. But it's a bit of a technical field where we look at who's looking at them and we can track who's looking at them as well. And we're able to target the best audience for these and see which creatives are performing the best. And we can go back to the client and say, hey, like change this copy, it's not doing as well as the other ones are, or this is clashing with this, and that sort of thing. Also getting them to revise like CTAs, call to actions, and just helping them like overall perform their creative ads.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the culture like at Dentsu?
So the culture is, it's not what I expected actually, it's a bit more laid back while still getting the work done. Where we have the ability to work from home, as everyone knows after lockdown, that's a bit of a convenience, avoiding travel times and that. But at the workplace, you know, working with your peers, having a free coffee, getting taken out for lunch by the clients, but we have a lot of social events at work, like getting people to socialise. We have culture clubs and a lot of weekly presentations, just catching up on what we've all done during the month, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's not as intimidating as I would have thought.
So, Alanna, you've had artworks displayed in galleries across the country. What has that been like?
So I have had artworks shown across the country in Western Australia and Victoria, which all communicate my practice and my exploration of identity as a Filipino Australian. And it's been great because it really shows the skills that you develop in art can be transferred across to advertising and vice versa. And you also get the opportunity to meet individuals who are doing both marketing, advertising, and art direction and visual art making.
Can you compare your creative process for art and graphic design from advertising?
I find that the process is very similar in that through both forms you are attempting to tell a narrative, you're attempting to tell a story, and I think to start off you have to look at human insights, human truth, the human experience, and yes, your environmental and social surrounds, and then it's just about the medium that you choose to portray it in, whether it be as a piece of traditional art making or through a piece of advertisement. And I think the fact that the process for me personally is quite similar kind of goes to show how transferable these like creative thinking skills are across visual art and advertising, which I think is really, really, really good.
There is a bit of an elephant in the room. What's the go with the glasses? I want to know more. How do we say it?
Oh, introducing.
In case you missed it, collective. And you guys conveniently have the same props.
Wow.
Oh, we're prepared.
So, in case you missed it, collective, or I See Me, ICYMI, is a collective for creative students, basically, or just like creatives early on in their career. It's a bit of a support network to bounce feedback off of each other, to have workshops, collaborative projects with smaller businesses, to build your portfolio, industry talks, that sort of thing. While we understand that there's already a market for some creative collectives and that sort of thing, we wanted to have our target audience for people who have recently graduated or are feeling a bit like lost in between graduation and finding a job. So kind of bridging that gap and making things a lot less scary, I guess.
Yeah, kind of eliminating that feeling that you're just like walking into an abyss, essentially, by and kind of emphasizing the importance of just like talking to your peers and setting up connections, because you might find your creative partner, you might start up some projects together, and we think it's just, the whole point of it is just to support one another at the end of the day, because it can be tiring. It can be tiring in like media and communications. So just, having fun and kind of navigating the world together, the media and communications and advertising world together.
It brings people together.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not terrified for next year.
Oh yeah. Sarcasm below.
So you might have someone who's willing to be part of it next year. You never know.
Who knows? What to say?
Well, I mean, you're already indoctrinated in those things.
We're sold.
And obviously, like you said, it's going to be really multidisciplinary. What are your own personal tips that has really helped you in your years since you graduated?
Confidence is key. And not underselling yourself in interviews or across your portfolio, resume, that sort of thing. You need to really like sell yourself like you would advertise a product. So not like turning up to an interview being like, oh, this is my work, like it's alright, I guess, like it'll have to do. Like really be like, oh, like this is my work and this is why it works, this is why I'm great. So you really need to like have that confidence and show your personality and charisma to an interviewer. Otherwise, if they can see that you don't like your own work, why would they hire you? Pretty much. Yeah.
I think similarly, just believing in your abilities and believing in yourself, or at least delivering it in a way that sounds like that. But in saying that, that really comes from just like, practicing what you're going to say, talking to other people, meeting other people who could potentially be mentors as well, because they could set up a connection somewhere. So just get networking. Just get networking, be confident, and also just don't stop learning. Like,
don't stop learning.
Don't stop learning.
You can still study after you graduate.
I see it.
But and take a look after your mental health as well.
Look after yourself. You can find us at ICYMI Collective on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Was that good?
Honestly, it's so motivating to see young people doing so well in the field. They are here tonight in the front row if you want to speak to them later, but you can also follow the In Case You Missed It Collective for updates on Instagram at ICYMI Collective.
Yep, it's incredibly refreshing, not only for us as hosts, but for the rest of the audience that will be graduating soon. Shit, aren't we supposed to be with our live guests, Annie and Liam?
Oh, crap.
How are we going to get to the interview room with these cameras on us?
Wait, I've got an idea. Look over there! Welcome to the studio, Annie and Liam. So sorry about the introduction there.
Yeah.
We were just like caught up with a few things, but we're good now. We're here. We've made it. Again, thank you so much for coming in this evening. We're very happy to have you. And so you're both from the Royals, and we've heard that they've been up to some great work recently. For those in the audience that aren't familiar with the Royals, they're about to be. Roll it.
I thought we talked about this.
I just wanted to try.
I got it. Roll it.
So please welcome to the show Annie Little and Liam Jenkins from the Royals. I just wanted to begin by first asking, like, what is the Royals and what does it involve?
Sure. So the Royals is an independent agency that is split between Melbourne and Sydney. I'd say we work quite closely together between the two offices. I was up in Sydney yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we work across a complete range of clients, big and small, and create campaigns that I'd say are quite channel agnostic as well. We do a bit of TV, out of home, digital, all kinds of ideas.
Perfect. Annie, as strategy director, like, what does your role involve and how does it like change from like brief to execution, the whole process?
Yeah, this is one that I used to find quite difficult to answer because it is a bit of everything. But I would say the overall role is sort of interpreting a bit about the consumer, a bit about the brand, and a bit about, I guess, the cultural trends that are out there, distilling them into a brief, and then being that interface between the client and the creatives.
What other roles in the agency do you often work with in that process?
Pretty much everyone apart from production.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know the producers. Yeah, definitely with account team, I would say that I found over the past few years that I often find my like account director wingman that I'm always kind of bouncing off, working out all the tricky problems with the client, and then definitely with the creatives as well. I mean, it's kind of your responsibility as a strategist to kind of keep things on track, keep shaping the ideas, finding new opportunities to make the ideas a bit bigger. Yeah, just unlocking a bit more creativity as well.
And I think on that, the best creative work, in my experience at least, has come out of actually collaborating with your strategist as much as possible. I think in the past I've done some work where it will be very sort of segmented, like we'll go through strategy and then we'll get briefed and then we'll go to creative, and that will sort of be the end of that relationship, I suppose, but keeping it cyclical the whole time.
Handed over.
Yes. Yeah, keeping it cyclical the whole time really helps.
I think, and that's like what I love about advertising and just the course that we're doing as well. The collaboration is always the best bit. And as someone who has been RMIT, graduating in 2017, you're an art director now. Yeah, welcome back.
I feel like I've never left the place. I'm always coming back.
Always coming back. How did that happen? You know, student and now you're an art director. Tell me about your journey.
So I graduated 2017. You definitely did make me feel old. Graduated 2017, no.
Don't worry, I graduated in 2012.
You didn't have to say that.
I'm proud.
We love. Graduated 2017. I was interning at an agency that was affiliated with what is now Dentsu. I was there for 3 years, moved on to another place for another couple of years, and then started at the Royals.
Maybe just over a year and a half?
I think so. Yeah.
Good year and a half
Time
so
is a
far.
concept. It's been great. No, it's been great. I mean, I've had some really awesome opportunities sort of across the board. Like we got to be in the NGV, which was insane.
Cool. Amazing.
I was like, I never thought I could say, oh yeah, I was in an actual gallery, but we did that.
That's crazy. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. It was part of the Rig Design Prize, which is something that the NGV does every 3 years. Choose a different different industry. They chose advertising last year. And basically they approached 8 agencies to come up with an exhibit to sell the power of creativity and sort of showcase advertising as an art form, which is a strong word, but we're in a gallery, so you lean into it, but yeah, it was incredible experience, and having an exhibit in NGV was really cool.
Oh, that's so surreal. Yeah, no, I remember going to see the exhibition and having a look, but moving on from that, I just, like, as an art director, Liam, you will have like a distinctive style. How have you found that has like transformed and progressed over your time in different roles?
Well, I feel like when I started my career, I very much was like, oh, this is going to be my style.
You're like
very much,
set.
literally, like very much influenced by like music videos and sort of like, I guess, sort of cultural things that maybe wasn't influencing ads as much as I thought, or as much as I'd like, really. But the truth is, you really struggle to find a single distinctive style as an art director, because you're normally working across so many different clients that you really have to change and adapt to match their style and make sure that it doesn't feel a bit, I suppose, alien for them. So you sort of always try and bring a little bit of yourself into it, but that changes all the time because you can't really have that one
growing
distinctive
as
style.
well, and then it has to fit with like the brief and brand guidelines. And
it's
or
tricky.
I'll get angry.
Yes, Annie does get very angry. She doesn't.
So
she
stick
doesn't.
to them.
Annie, you've been shortlisted for the 2023 B&T Women in Media Awards. That's like such an amazing achievement.
Woo!
Yes, big round of applause. Yeah, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud, really pleased to be shortlisted, and I just think that having that as a sort of a community of women who get recognition in the industry is really important. I think that sort of equality, diversity is something that's very important at the Royals. We're involved in the Pledge for 50, which is all about trying to get better gender representation in terms of, well, more so in the production end of things, which, as I've admitted, doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm still involved. But yeah, I think I've always been really lucky that I have worked at lots of agencies that have had really good female representation and inspiration. So I think it's just nice to be recognised and be part of that.
Yeah, amazing. I also wanted to ask, like, is there any favourite clients you've had or favourite work you've done at the Royals?
I would say probably, well, one that we worked on together that we both love, I know, is we often work on a sex toy brand called Wild Secrets. And something we did recently was trying to destigmatise pleasure for older people and made a catalogue of sex toys and tips and hinters that we sent out to aged care communities or lifestyle communities. But yeah, I think we've really enjoyed pushing the boundaries with that one and kind of breaking some stigma.
Exactly.
For pleasure for all. So that's been really good fun. We've both loved working on that.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely the Wild Secrets campaign and NGV, but I'm not going to rant about it again. But yeah, both really fun, I think, just because they were different from sort of the standard type of ad work that we're used to.
Yes, it's rather than like, it's more out of the box rather than like, this is what you're confined in.
That's it. And I think something that's really fun, I think, for both creative and strategy with Wild Secrets is that actually they are banned from many media channels. They're not actually allowed to go out on traditional channels like TV or billboard. We tried that once with billboards, didn't last long. So often they get taken down. So it's all about kind of cleverly navigating your way around some of those media channels that are owned by the big companies and working out what you can do.
You've got to be like really smart about it, like what can pass and who can say yes to this. I really want to know their responses of like, getting a package or some sort of thing at the retirement home.
Well, yeah, we had a mail order sort of system that we set up, and we also had a particular discount code that you could actually use with your seniors card, and we did get people using it. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, success in our book. But yeah, sometimes I think like having a few like barriers or guidelines where you have to kind of press up against it can actually make better work because you're kind of having to think a bit different and flip something rather than just going out there with, you know, some more Facebook ads.
Yeah, exactly. No, I really like it. I find both of those campaigns very like interesting, and yeah, I really enjoyed
They're
them.
a lot of fun.
But we've got something exciting to share. Annie, you've shared this 90s photo. Very cute. Sorry to embarrass you both like this. And Liam,
It is so cute.
here's yours. We love the attitude.
Yeah, I've always had it.
Yeah. It's consistent. It's going with the brand image.
Yeah, consistency. That's my thing.
Yeah. I do have a final question for you both. If you could go back in time to your like younger selves and to like recent graduates like us, what advice would you give us and your younger selves?
Ooh, I'll go first. I think chopping and changing and having like a non-linear pathway is okay.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. So my experience was that I think I've worked in either 6 or 7 agencies now. Currently the longest being the Royals, but I think that at certain times I felt like, oh, I feel like I need to do 2 years here, 2 years there, or even longer. But actually, I think moving around can really build your experience. You learn from so many different people, you learn different ways of thinking, and even having career breaks. I think I've disappeared off a couple of times and done some random stuff. And I think you always come back refreshed and with a new perspective that actually makes your work better.
Yeah.
So I think whenever I speak to other people or kind of reflect on my own path, I think change is good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Love this little RuPaul moment. I feel like you need a photo of us and just put it in front of us. Yeah, I think if there was one piece of advice, and maybe it's a bit loaded, but if there was one piece of advice, it's that work is not your worth. And I think it's really tricky, especially in a creative industry and an industry that we pour so much of ourselves into every day, into briefs, etc. It's easy to get lost in that idea that if this isn't good, I'm not good.
Yeah, like you attach yourself to your work.
You
because
do.
You invest in it.
Yes, exactly. So I think the biggest lesson that I have learned and that I would pass to my younger self is definitely work is not your worth. And also to make sure that you have hobbies and sort of can invest your time in things that aren't too adjacent to your job, because otherwise you'll just feel like you're doing your job 24/7 and you get super critical and the whole cycle begins again. So yes, have fun. Work is not your worth.
Yeah. Advertising is fun. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're having fun,
We're
right?
having fun.
So much fun.
And we're talking with awesome ex-students and people working in the industry. So thank you so much, Liam and Annie, for coming on the show and for sharing the quick brief with us, which we'll talk about later. But before that, round of applause for these two. And let's take an ad break.
Welcome to the Temple of Dry. Here, you will free yourself of complication, and you will learn to be like the beer. Like Carlton Dry, you must be perfectly balanced. You must never be bitter. You must be smooth. Oh, Martin. Be like the bear.
So, put your head on and strap on. Okay, positions, guys, ready?
And now for a commercial break.
Like helping me with my maths test, filling me up with all the good stuff, whiteboard, big and tough. Good on you, Mum. Good on you, Mum. Each day when we eat breakfast or lunch, it's you think what's best for us. Good on you, Mum. Tick off the one. Good on you, Mum.
Thanks, Dad.
That was a really cute ad. We're going to be graduating kind of soon. We're halfway through. What jobs are you going to be going for, Charlie?
I don't like that at all. But I reckon maybe I'll just like spend my days like selling shoes.
Shoes? Don't you want to enter the field? You were here for like 3 years, right?
Well, I mean like, sure, but a job is a job at the end of the day.
I mean, but with an ad degree, you can be a copywriter, a brand manager, an art director. Any role could come your way.
Pass on those. What else is on offer?
You could manage the social media account of a dressed up sea otter.
Otters are overrated. More of a dog gal now.
You could do the local marketing for a pet store that also sells toys for cows.
I don't want to work for animals. I don't want to smell like poo.
Well, you can organise the sponsorships for race cars that go zoom, zoom, zoom.
I think I want a place that has good benefits too.
Well, work for an airline company. You could travel the world.
Nah, not for me. Heights make me want to hurl.
What about a club promoter? You know, make it a place where people want to meet and dance.
Yeah, that's good. That does sound like me.
See, I told you there's something. You'll get the job, just you see.
Well, what about you?
Me? Well, I might see if there's an opening at the zoo.
Well, today's been educational. But let's see who. Sorry, what?
Let's see who's who.
Let's see who's who. It's almost time for Luca to read us the quick brief too. But before that, we're going to take a quick ad break.
Roll it.
Got a call from Sue's our daughter. Something had destroyed her. The wedding place in town had just burned to the ground. So the guests were coming here to a mess that was severe. Ajax spray and wipe made everything alright. Makes cleaning oh so easy. It's tough on all things greasy. The wedding was a hit. The house looked great, I will admit. So thank you. Ajax spray and wipe.
Oh, when your roof is getting lost between the lichen and the moss, when your mortar isn't where it ought to be, and give it back that old appeal with a visit from Roof Seal. 1336 7070. Hi, I'm the Roof Seal. Let me clean, replace tiles, repair mortar, and recoat your roof for a fraction of new roof price. 1336 7070. Roof.
Rough enough. Now on the topic of quick briefs, here's a response we received from How Watson and Company. Thank you, Joe.
This brief was all about bringing back the youth to brands like Triple J and MTV. You were tasked with reintroducing the brief to young people with the single-minded proposition that what's old is new again. Joe, you've done a great job of this way, and it's such a fun way to relate back to the audience with a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour. I think you've nailed it. A reminder that submissions for this brief are due this Sunday night by midnight. Make sure to get them into the quick brief at hungrytalks.com.au by then for your chance to have a one-on-one chat with How Watson and Company's Beck Robinson, who we met in the studio a few weeks back.
Now, let's go to Luca for this week's quick brief.
That's weird. Where's Luca? Have you seen him?
What? No. Well, yeah, no. Now that you mention it, I would have seen him here last time last week, right?
Well, where is he?
Wait, hang on. He's calling me now.
Oh my God! Put him on speaker. I want to hear.
Luca, where did you disappear to?
G'day, Charlie, Jaya. How you guys going?
We're good. Where are you right now? We're on air, mate.
We need you to do the quick brief.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't really know where I'm at. I think, based on where I'm looking around, I think like Great Britain. I know I'm in Great Britain, but like up north somewhere, probably more towards Scotland. Yeah.
Great Britain? What are you doing there, bruv? What about the quick brief?
Yeah, look, Charlie, I'm gonna level with you. I wasn't paying that much attention. in the meetings. I heard something mentioned about the Royals, so I just assumed that we had to be here in Britain. I probably should have followed up on that one, but I didn't. So now I'm here. It's really cold. Especially in the summer here, it's really cold. But you know, that's the way she goes, I suppose. I got the quick brief here though, I can read out for you. So this quick brief's been dubbed Project Timeless with a client that's a youth and or mass brand of your choosing. An example of this could be New Balance. Advertising is not immune to ageism, betraying the elderly in a really bland or borderline offensive ways. Tisk 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 advertising, tisk tisk tisk. This brief challenges you to sell a youth brand to a target audience of Australians over the age of 70 without changing the product or resorting to stereotypes. Think about how during their youth they had cultural influences such as punk and the swingy 60s. Maybe go a little hippie or go a little Nixon. Choice is yours, really. Talk to them like the quirky oddballs they are. Adopt a spirited, spunky, and real tone of voice, and the S&P of this brand thinks that boomers are the next big thing. And this can be executed in any way you like. But yeah, with all that said and done, I'm probably going to go now. I don't have international calls. I'm going to try and get back to Melbourne. I'm assuming that's where you guys are. Or else, you know, I'll have to do my next one from goddamn Kuala Lumpur or something. God knows at this rate. So, yeah. See yous.
Bye, Luca. Get back in one state. Safe travels. Anyway, as Luca stated, the best submission has the chance to win an internship with the Royals. And just for clarification, we mean the agency here tonight, not the royal family.
That's right, and one of these sweet, sweet lolly bags. So send your responses to this brief to quickbriefs@hungrytalks.com.au by Sunday the 17th of September. Again, it's a great chance to build up your folio with pitch night coming up. There's no better time than now. We're going to take a week off, so there'll be no episode next week. But the week after, we'll be back with the second half of our season, and there's a lot to do.
But before we part ways this evening, we have one more thing kind of exciting that we want to show you before we go on break. Something I think the more fashionistas in the audience would like to see.
Do you guys want to see it? Yeah. All right. I mean, come on. I'll go again. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
You know what, Charlie?
What?
You have this one.
Really? Am I ready?
I think you are.
Okay. Roll it. Introducing our limited edition Hungry Talks t-shirt. Unlock a new level of style with our unique designs, a blend of elegance, innovation and individuality. But wait, there's more. Our commitment to providing unparalleled value extends beyond the product itself. With this limited edition t-shirt, you're not just purchasing clothing, you're investing in the history of Hungry Talks.
That's right. And like every YouTuber, once they pass a few thousand subscribers, they now have merch. So do we. Except, these are good. Call 1-800-HUNGRY TALKS to place your order. Don't actually call Hungry Talks. These are out now on our Shopify page, which you can find in the link on our Instagram bio. While these are stock lasts, go get them. They're hot. We'll leave you guys with that, and we hope to see everyone in the audience rocking them next episode.
We'll return in a fortnight, airing from 7:30 p.m. for our late night special. So next week is a great opportunity to catch up, binge all the content you've missed, and buy a t-shirt. We'll be hitting the ground running as we discuss the psychology and strategy of advertising with 3 industry guests from VMLY and R, plus Felix Barnett, 2021 split-second TAC winner, member of Young Bloods and a recent guest on Grow and Transfer, plus 4 RMIT grads and D&AD graphite pencil winners. And last but not least, David Chong will be joining us from the couch for the Student Live panel.
Thanks again to our media team and the audience. For now, farewell. Good night. So long with Finish saying. See you next time and stay hungry.